Okay. I'd like to open the meeting up, planning board meeting for January 16th. We are here to discuss our Katahdin subdivision in the Millinocket mill site. And I'd like to do a quick thing for the last week's minutes that I didn't, last week's meeting. I didn't do the minutes. That was my fault. So we're going to skip that. I'll get it for the next meeting. And I guess at this time, Tom, I'd like to have you take a start at it and introduce people. Well, yes, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Of course, we couldn't approve the minutes for that one, but any old business, I don't think we had any. I didn't have any. And the new business, the only new business we had last was this project that we're working on now. So
we're here tonight, we all have a packet, and the application from, this hearing on behalf of Shamim Bahar, to submit a subdivision application, and biofuel project. Bring on. Be all there, we all have what's called the report that we requested under our subdivision and green maps and see if it's representing walking through the process.
okay,
Sure, let me see if I can share my screen real quick. I've got a short presentation and then some plans I can share. Dan did with City Mahar Engineers, work with Steve at the mill site for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now, working on some various projects. I'm happy to be pushing this one forward. We're here tonight, as Tom mentioned, for the subdivision approval required for some of the divisions that are happening out there at the site to create lease areas for different uses. As part of our subdivision, kind of an overview, the overall property that we're subdividing is about 1,400 acres in Katahdin. There's going to be 2 areas that are going to be broken out as part of the subdivision. OK Solar 1, which is a lease area that was created a couple years ago that already exists, and then the newest lot that we're creating is the EME Biofuels lot, which is at the top of Shack Hill for a proposed biofuels production facility. Part of this work also includes improvements to the infrastructure out there, especially the roadway that goes up into Shack Hill. Right now, it's about 18 to 20 feet wide, mostly used for logging. We're going to be widening that to about 30 feet wide to accommodate larger trucks and emergency vehicles. There'll be some entrance gate improvements associated with that, utility improvements, which I'll cover in a minute. Stormwater management as well. We are required and actually underway with the Maine DEP for a Site Location and Development Act amendment. The site is already subject to one of those permits as licenses. So as part of this, we're required to amend that for the subdivision and any development that happens out there. We submitted that earlier last year and are going back and forth with comments at this point now. For both the SLOTA and this subdivision project in particular requires a Natural Resource Protection Act permit for wetland impacts. We get about 7,000 or 8,000 or so, 7,014 square feet of wetland impacts associated with this project. And that's all just from widening the road. So we're in process with review for that with the Army Corps of Engineers and Maine DEP. Some of the proposed utilities that we're putting in as a way to serve what we'll call the Greenfield or Shack Hill. We are putting in an 8-inch process water service from the screen house off the old water intake in Ferguson Pond. That will it'll be pumped up to the top of the hill, and we'll have a water tank up there, 400,000 gallon water tank that will be used for fire protection and process water. So we'll pump the water up to the tank and it'll get pulled off and used at the various sites as they get developed. We also are proposing an 8-inch sewer main from that area down to tie in to eventually to the town system at the bottom of the hill, down by the garage and the old ENR building. Nothing is being connected to that as part of this project. We're just putting it there in case future users want to use that for sanitary waste, flushing toilets, washing hands, that sort of thing. We are also putting in, as part of this infrastructure work, a 4-inch non-contact cooling water pipe that will connect the EME site to Ferguson Pond. So they'll be pulling water off of our intake, using it to cool, and then putting it back into Ferguson Pond. And that's also under review with DEP and Army Corps right now. So sort of a project overview. I'm sure you all are intimately familiar with the mill site, or at least have seen plenty of aerial images of it. Main entrance will still remain up here off of Route 11 across from the Golden Road. So access into the site will still be the same along that main drive. I think we're calling that Industrial Way or something similar to that. We'll talk about road names in a little bit. And then our improvements for the roadway widening and large truck access really start at the intersection of Bark Pile Road and that main entry drive, where we'll be widening the road. We'll be shifting it around to help fit utilities up to the logging road up the industrial park area that will be built out, hopefully. And so this entire stretch here will be improved roadway for large truck access and emergency vehicle access. And our water tank will sit up here at the top of the hill across from what you'll see in just a minute is the future EME biofuel site. And obviously, this is the old or the existing solar lot here. This kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the intricacies of land ownership out there with all these notes. But most importantly, there is an existing access easement that serves the OK solar site that's used for both access and utilities. And then there's an access easement that's proposed along the front of our new EME biofuel site. Those easements will remain in place and be used for all the sites up here, basically for access and any utility infrastructure that they need. So we're not proposing a formal right-of-way. These are going to be leased lots that remain in Arcatadon's ownership, but be leased by the different entities. So we don't have necessarily a right-of-way up in there. We're granting that access through an easement all over our own property.
How long an easement? How many years?
How many years? Do you
Well,
have
the lease, I mean,
how many have for a date on the lease?
I imagine that the easement will be for the lease. So as long as the lease is active, they'll have the easement. I think they go hand in hand.
yeah. So you lease.
And right now, the lease to EME is 30 years, initial term of 10 years, automatic renewal of 10 years.
Okay.
Succinctly, I think right now overall it's 30 years.
Real reasonable.
And is the solar site 20 years or so?
Solar site is 20 years, because that's the expected life cycle,
Expectancy.
lifespan of the system.
And if there are future developments built up here off of the new roadway, then they'd come with a new lease, and that access easement would have to be in effect for the entire length of that lease as well.
Okay.
Excuse me, Peter. I apologize. I have
No, you're good, you're good.
difficult hearing all of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you enlarge the volume at all?
Want to just speak closer?
That probably would be very helpful.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No
No,
problem.
no, that's okay. Yeah, that's, I tend to mumble too, so feel free to raise your hand. Yeah.
I would like to hear.
You weren't coming through there at all.
Yes, Peter.
Just a little more detail on this plan. You can see some of these hatched areas adjacent to the road. We've done extensive wetlands delineation out there as part of our permitting effort. The darker hatch, the larger hatch, those are vernal pools, and they're critical terrestrial habitat. So we are effectively avoiding those with our infrastructure work, and our wetland impacts are really just where the roads being widened adjacent to the wetland areas. I'm sorry, the wetland areas that are adjacent to the road. So this infrastructure improvements, the subdivision, even the EME biofuel site, just not a lot of natural resources we have to worry about, which is good. This is just a zoomed in plan of the lease parcels. It kind of shows the EME site and how it's been defined. We don't have any details on the development of that site at this time. We're just creating the lot for them to build out their plan.
Are you looking at like, what I understood, 6 lots to subdivide, or is it more than that?
We're taking them as they go right now, so the solar farm is existing,
Okay.
was built a couple years ago. We didn't trip the subdivision requirement for that first creation. It's this second lot creation, EME lot, is what's tripping the subdivision requirement. So we're now coming here before you to get the approval for both of those lots, one existing, one future. And to talk about more lots, it's going to be one-offs as developments occur.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't know how much more detail you want me to get in, but I'm going to go ahead and share just a little more detailed plan. I can speak about this for all night, so stop me as soon as you.
Just
Right.
add on to that. Each of these lots are around 32 acres. The entire industrial zone acres up there are about 1,400.
1,400.
So just as a size of how
Okay.
much land is up there versus how much work lot creation is being done right now.
So this plan kind of shows, it's kind of an overview of what we're proposing. So it shows where we're starting our roadway improvements on the Bark Pile Road. We'll come out, our improvements will stop just past the Bark Pile Road, and our paved road will actually extend up the hill. We're going to be leveling that off, doing some regrading in that area to make sure it's a smooth transition for big trucks and emergency vehicles. And then here you see what's proposed as the fire water and process water tank at the top of the hill. So that's the 400,000 gallons. So our water will be pumped from the existing intake just at the entry of Brookfield's penstocks, as it was when the mill was in full operation, and pumped up the hill to the tank, and then it will be distributed there to EME now, and hopefully in the future to future tenants as well.
There is an existing tank near Shad Hill, though, right?
Not
There used to be?
No,
No.
no, the only improvement we found up there is an old airport beacon.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only sign of improvement we've ever found up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so this will be brand new. If I were to zoom in, you can see here this little pipe outlet coming down to Ferguson. That's the cooling, the non-contact cooling water discharge from EME. So their water, after it's done doing its job on the site for cooling, will be piped down and tied back into Ferguson Pond.
Okay.
The wetland impacts are a little bit better shown here. You can see some of the darker hatches. That's where we're impacting wetlands with our road widening. Again, around 7,000 square feet. So that would typically not trigger a large or a complex permitting process through DEP, but because the solar farm impacted, I think it was around 60,000 square feet, we're required to go through a full individual permit and provide compensation for those impacts. So as we go through that process, there will be some monetary compensation that will be required for those wetland impacts. So that will continue on as development disturbs wetlands, but it's minimized for this project in particular. Stormwater management, which is regulated through the main DEP SLOTR process, we're required to accomplish a couple things. One is to treat the stormwater in accordance with their linear standards and general standards. So we've designed 11 under drain soil filters. I'm not sure if you folks are familiar with those. Yeah, I mean, they're generally just depressions in the ground where water will pond and, within 24 hours will drain
Filter
down.
through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, through a sand and then be discharged. So we have 11 of those, 2 of which are primarily to serve the water tank area, and then 9 further down the road. You can see they're kind of the squares here. So we've accomplished our treatment using those filters. Those filters actually also accomplished peak flow control. So our pre versus post, we've done our calculations, and we're actually slowing down the water. Even though we're adding some impervious from this roadway, we're slowing the water down enough that we're not increasing our peaks where the water eventually goes, which is through the mill site, around through these wetlands, and then eventually to the river. So it's not entering any public infrastructure. It's not even entering much infrastructure on the mill site. So we're not too concerned there. And we've also controlled the flows. So we feel pretty good about that. I think that's a lot of the detail I wanted to share. I think we did share in the packet that the estimated cost for the infrastructure, the water tank was around 7 million, which I'm sure Steve has talked about with the town at length. But that's going to be funded with the town bond and then obviously $1 million from the MBRC.
So your bark pile is mostly pretty much gone by now, isn't it?
So the bark pile is owned by whatever the mulch.
Northland.
Yeah, Northland Mulch,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah. So, and that's been in existence for a long time. They did some access expansion up there this year. And I don't know how many more years of harvesting they have. I'm not aware of that, but that's a separately owned
Right, but I'm,
property up there, so, but they are using the bark.
that you're
pile
using
to-
that road, right?
to haul, bark out of here down to their complex in Costa.
Yes. But I was kind of thinking last time I was up there that it's gotta be pretty close to being,
Yeah,
Out of
but they
there.
just did some road improvements and they changed their access to the whole other side of the site, so I would think. they've
backside
got-
maybe, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay. Alright. Good.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I had to share in terms of detail. I mean, in general, it's a pretty, from a number of lots standpoint, it's a pretty small subdivision with just the 2 new lots. And the infrastructure is pretty straightforward, just widening the road and making sure the water and sewer can get where it needs to go.
How much impact has the Army Corps of Engineers had thus far with you guys?
well, with the DEP, our permits through the DEP were all but set for final review. Last one to sign off was Army Corps. It happened right at the same time as the 45-day federal shutdown. Well, that stalled us for 45 days.
Yeah,
We have resumed,
Yeah.
to their credit, basically about less than 2 weeks after they got back to work, they contacted us and said, let's resume this, and we're going through that. They're putting us through a little biological review that we didn't anticipate. So it's adding some more time to it, but nothing significant, nothing.
are you working with the Holton or Presque Isle office, or is it a Bangor?
Army Corps?
Yeah, Army
I
Corps,
don't
yeah.
even know if the person who's on this project is in Maine.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they've kind of spread responsibilities around recently. They got a lot of new staff, had a lot of turnover.
Yeah, they're in the mills, aren't they? Army Corps of Engineers?
They were in Augusta.
I mean, I met a team of them a little while ago in East Millinocket Mill that they were moving in and setting up
Oh.
and,
Oh,
They come to the east going on, Why?
okay, work out of that, okay.
So I mean, yeah, every now and then they do like a construction project or something for
Okay.
training. But
Yeah.
those aren't the review folks that we deal with. We deal with the scientists.
Yeah.
And the project managers.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions or provide more detail if needed.
No, you guys got anything, Evan?
No. Couple rolling around. I don't know if they're really significant or not. I know we can only do so much around the wetlands and whatnot. It sounds like you're doing what you can to avoid that. I know we can't do away with it completely, but there are some, there's limitations. So I'm glad that that's not being destroyed. I guess the next thing that comes to mind might be more of a question for John, really. As far as the water tank and for fire suppression, in your mind, in your experience, I mean, do you feel that that's adequate for the area, or?
Yeah, so the conversation I had with them early on, I feel, that 400,000 gallon, that's a good sized tank, for a project of this size, so.
And then I assume it's gonna be fed to a hydrant, or there's gonna be points to plug into this to
Yeah.
hoses up to. It was an instance, okay.
Part of the infrastructure.
The other thing that comes to mind, which I don't know, same idea, I don't know really how much subdivision is related, but you talked about the cooling water being drawn out of Ferguson and then pumped back into Ferguson. Only concern there, which I'm sure it's covered, but the only concern in my mind is you're pumping water out, it's being used. What condition is the water coming back in? That's just kind of pops in my mind.
No, it's a good question. And this is, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with the process, but this is what's called a non-contact cooling water. So it basically is pumped up to the site and it's used in pipes to cool off some of their equipment. It doesn't actually touch their process waste. It doesn't really get exposed to anything other than maybe some minor biocides to keep films from growing in the pipes. And then it's turned around and discharged. So this isn't like dirty processed water that you might see in a mill and that they might have out here that they have to deal with on site. It's really a cleaner water. And we did have to go through, and we are in the process of going through a review for the intake that kind of that's required through DEP to make sure that that water is okay to go back into Ferguson. I mean, we've had no issues with what we've submitted to them.
Any issues with temperature?
It's such a, I mean, this is a small
Small,
amount.
minor.
Yeah, I think it's like 9 gallons per minute or something like that they're pulling. It's just not that much that they're pulling out and using for this. And Ferguson's pretty large, so
Yeah,
it's kind of a convenient spot for something like this, given the amount of water, the volume of water we have to help mix it back in.
You mentioned about as far as like infrastructure and roads, the town doing a bond and stuff. I'm not as familiar with that. I don't know if you guys are, maybe. You guys familiar with that? I don't know if that.
I can give you a little brief history on our road and other infrastructure development to date, and this is really a phase 2 project. So this year we completed our first infrastructure improvements up there. You might have noticed at the gate there's a new truck scale that was included. Some road improvements that we've done on the immediate road, tore up pavement, fixed the road, repaved. A lot of it was there are new power lines up there, so the solar farm built all those power lines, but then we put our wires on those on a shared pole agreement we have with them. So we've extended power from the substation 4 area all the way up to that water tower area in this. And we did some other minor road improvements along the way. And then we prepared, so the water intake building is the old Screenwell house and the associated chlorine building right next to it. So we prepared the chlorine building to receive the pumps and electrical and control equipment that's going to be required to pump water up to that hill. So we prepped the chlorine building to receive that equipment. The second phase that we're now getting permitting for is going to extend those road improvements all the way up to the water tower, put the water tower up there, put a new traveling screen in the Screenwell house, put all the pumps and controls and things in the chlorine building to pump water up the hill, and then to put our sewer pipes in the ground as well, back down towards the ENR area into connection with the town system, and then the non-contact cooling to Ferguson Pond. So that's kind of the next phase that we are 95% designed on. We'll be putting it out to bid this winter. Permitting is eminent, and we hope to start construction this year on that second phase. And that's all bringing these services infrastructure to the EME biofuels site.
go ahead, Pete.
Evan, to a little more directly answer your question, that as part of the investment towards the biofuel company over the course of November and December of last year, 2024, the town council did agree and approve to bond $6 million to pay for the access road from the gate up to the Castle Rock, the EME biofuels site. So that would be the bond that he mentioned earlier for $6 million, which also relates to the easement that was brought up earlier, which is not necessarily specified in here. But that, from what I understand, when that easement is completed, it will be required to be perpetual without, limitation. Can't be 20-year, can't be 30-year, because it is public funds and gated property, so. Yeah,
Oh, John,
Is that road gonna be something we can get into 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Is it gonna be plowed in the winter? And you
Yeah.
guys have the equipment there to
Yeah,
plow
like I
it?
said, I mean, currently you have access to the gate.
Yes.
Now, so once you're in the gate, you have access to that road and 100%, that plans on being a 24-hour plan up there, so.
Okay.
It's definitely gonna be,
Tom, have you had much more input from was it Cage Street or for the plant, not Cage Street, but who'd you just say, the name you just said?
EME biofuels.
EME, okay. Have you had any more to do with them on, I know until this is done. Right, but they're ready to move when they, Right.
Just as a note, we have submitted their SLOTA amendment as well, so they're pretty far in progress when it comes
so
to.
they're ready pretty much essentially to come as soon as this is done. Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I understand that, but I mean, they want to progress with it. Once this is site plan review is approved, once this is approved, they're pretty much ready to start there.
This is our permit, but it's for them, and they're actually paying for this service that Seaver Hart is
Perfect.
providing for this subdivision approval.
We'll get a-
Okay, so it's-
One coming from the end spots. I thought.
I was gonna say, I don't think it
It'll
can.
be, yeah, the
It's
intake is
The
just.
Sweenwell house, that's right adjacent to the penstocks, Tom. That's the existing Sween well. That's where, yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's
Sorry
where it's
for
coming
the-
from.
Yeah, sorry for the.
Okay,
And that's a new discharge to Ferguson Pond that we have. We have about 3 existing discharge points, either in Ferguson or Millnocket Stream. This is a new one that needs to be permitted. Yeah, and EME will have to get their own discharge permit for that, right?
Yeah, that was part of their submittal to the
Yeah.
state is
Yeah.
because that's their pipe. Essentially, it just happens to be in our road, so we're including it in our infrastructure project. I mean, they'll pay for it, but it'll be part of this work.
kill two birds with one stone. so-
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't dig it up again if we can.
That's right. Anything from the public? No?
Do have one more.
Oh,
Who's maintaining these roads? Who will be maintaining?
Yeah, it will be Arcatiz's responsibility for maintaining these roads as part of our shared services for all of our tenants.
So plowing, sanding, repair, everything is all done.
That's,
Correct.
yeah.
well, you're a lucky guy. Brian, yeah, you're a lucky guy. You don't have to go out and do anything.
Got enough to do, don't I?
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah. All right. You got anything else or
No.
it's pretty much? Tom, you got any more questions or?
I need road names from 11 to.
What about your 911 access, chief? You got that all set?
That's exactly why they do it. This was my task that I learned about Monday morning and I started it. And Tom about 3 hours ago reminded me that he needed road names and I said, oh yeah, that's what I didn't continue to do. So it's not a big deal. We can give them names certainly tonight, if we want, that we feel pretty comfortable with. We can get back to you with those road names. I don't know how we,
That's the only thing of that.
So the,
Lot numbers and.
Yeah.
road.
Tom and Lorna have the authority to name those. They've been kind of giving the courtesy
Well,
to you for quite some time to name the roads. So, you know, if you don't want to pick one, they can just name them if you'd like. Maybe take that off your back.
now, Lorna, do you also need the lot sizes with that, with the lot numbers or? Okay,
does the solar have a lot number yet?
It does not.
No.
We haven't been in front.
No, but does it have a, but is it considered a lot for the tax purposes?
It is.
Yeah, yeah,
It is
okay,
for a subdivision plan.
Right,
All
right,
started
yep.
with the numbers and continued the numbers.
yeah, well, it might take a little more work to get sense of the numbers. That's something we're going to have CV Mahar, who has experience in doing some of this, give us a little.
Well, it's probably the cleanest way to do it now is one and two, and then if we need to amend it in the future with future subdivision plans, we can maybe tackle it then. So the solar parcels lot number 1, and the EME biofuels lot will be number 2. If that
And
works.
this is this considered that R6 lot?
That's different.
Yeah,
That's
that's
your tax map, lot designation.
That's not what I'm talking to you.
No.
strictly for this plan.
Gotcha,
Planning, general
Okay.
plan. No plot.
gotcha. Thank you.
I mean, as far as the roads, got industrial road, I think, in my mind. Industrial is one. Up through.
From,
What would have come from the old gatehouse.
I think we're gonna, I think we're gonna go call Industrial Way or Industrial Drive, right from Poplar Street to the Penstocks. Do we have a name for that one already?
No.
no, but it's
Road
it's
continues down through,
Route 11.
Huh?
one that comes in, the gate,
Yeah,
down around and goes straight down, if you drive down to.
to PM11. Oh, straight down to the garage?
Right.
Oh, down through
So
here.
that's-
It is?
Yeah,
That's the point garage, so.
yeah. So then industrial, I took it was going to be from up through to number 11.
There's a different way that you want to do it.
Yeah.
We're fine with that. If you
Okay.
want to name the leg that goes.
Yeah, we've got it mapped out as to what the individual roads we are, which we can show you. We just don't have names for them.
Yeah.
We've got the road system and what is considered each name, but we don't have actual name.
Is it possible, maybe, is it possible for the board to condition approval tonight based on us, agreeing on road names and before?
Yeah,
Understood.
Now that's just, you're talking just approval for just the road names.
We've got to have it.
Okay, you're not, yeah, I was gonna say you're not talking about the whole,
well, I'd like to share the whole road network, how we plan on it, to make sure it makes sense the way you like that.
As long as it's the
Yeah.
wrong story, then.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's the biggest concern.
Gotcha.
That's right. That was part of the 15 step.
How about a January 22nd deadline?
That would work, wouldn't it?
I like deadlines.
They sort
Otherwise, it doesn't get done.
They do help.
Jenna is good. It's all my fault.
Give you
Tom.
an email.
It's all my fault.
Well, Jenna's not here, so we can't blame her. We were close. We were,
But that's,
yeah, sorry.
but what he's saying, Mike, is. What he's asking is to approve it pending. But you've got.
Yeah, not the whole project, just the road part of it.
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just the road name.
No,
Subdivision.
approve the project pending road names.
Yeah.
We haven't had, we really haven't had our second hearing on that, right? I mean, we've got another hearing for
Is
it.
that what you're gonna do?
Isn't it?
You.
Well, yeah,
No. We don't have.
No,
You can.
you're required to have one Second, up to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know. We don't have much public here now. Obviously, and I don't know if the next meeting will be any different. But I just,
That's entirely up to you guys. People go.
how much is it gonna hurt you if we do that? If we put it back? You know, like,
It'll be another month.
Another month?
yeah. Is,
Well, and then
I
once
don't
you,
wanna like step on anybody's toes, but like personally, I'm okay with them having like a week to come up with names and move forward with this.
oh,
for
but it's not just that, it's the whole project.
We're just doing subdivision. We're not doing the whole project.
It's not the whole subdivision project. This, what we're talking about now is just names for the roads.
so, Mr. Chairman, what you could do is offer a motion to approve pending, collaborative decision on road names. And then second vote, get out of here.
Yeah,
Won't happen fast. Oh,
well, yeah, once the, and the rest of the criteria is
I
met.
mean, the butters, the only butters is. And I wrote them and they never responded to me, so. Other than that, we don't have any butters. For your information.
We obviously don't have a lot of interest.
Well, no, and it's quite obvious, but the other, I just. The other thing is, as long as we're doing just this part of it and not the rest of the criteria, I think we'll be fine. I don't have a problem doing it either. But when I at first thought it was the entire thing, and, we haven't gone through every bit of the criteria yet. I mean, have they met, to my knowledge, they haven't met all of it. Have they all 15 steps
They've met all the steps.
for this manual?
Plan, yes.
Okay,
You do that, every box, okay,
all right. then.
other than the ones that. Oh, but
Okay.
everything else. They have done.
So we don't have to have
You
it.
know, I'm not speaking either way.
But what, do we have to have
Okay,
a second meeting?
utilize-
Well, then,
One requirement
if
for-
it's all the requirement we have, then yeah, I don't have a problem with this.
I motion we accept it.
Yeah.
Pending agreement on street names
Contingent, yeah.
contingent.
I second that.
All in favor? No discussion.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, we got it. Yeah, it's being filmed too, so I can take it from there.
Yeah, right.
So, but, no, it's good to see you. I'm happy.
Yeah,
Give you something, what you read, because we're gonna start working on the bond plan and subdivision that you had for information has changed in the name law, so just a little like.
especially around the ADU.
Yep.
On the ADU.
Thank you.
I'd like to talk to you when this is done real quick, though, because I want to make sure it's not affecting like Huber area. Is this gonna affect that?
Statewide, shut down.
But is it affecting what we already have there? At Huber, within the town limits? Yeah.
Excuse me,
Go
is
ahead.
this meeting still going or are we
No, we're
adjourned?
not adjourned. No, we're not.
Okay.
adjourned.
There's not a deadline in that motion. Discussion about either game one, then there wasn't discussion about the game one.
Well, Matt, to be honest with you, I thought it was required from MMA or something that we had 2 public hearings on it.
Deadline. On street.
Oh,
The street name.
Yeah.
Bias or gate. That's not in the motion.
no,
There's
that-
no public discussion, that's why
no,
we're having-
yeah. No, it was Evan,
He did not mention it as
I did not mention a
No,
specific
you didn't
date,
mention the date.
however, the 22nd was agreed upon.
I mean, just
Okay.
to,
really soon.
if I could, we can't do anything else with this subdivision until we satisfy that condition, so.
Yeah, it's not-
Yeah, the
Yeah.
site plan for EME.
yeah, no, let's do it. Yeah, everybody voted for it, so, am I missing something, but we all did it, so. Brian, you got anything at the last minute? You all set with any questions or anything, or I know not much of it concerned you.
Thank you again.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Before you do. Oh, I'm interested in next month, be bringing that forward.
No, let's move forward with it. I mean, that's the whole idea of, you know, my understanding of this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
That on the 15th?
So,
That's, okay, Thursday. between-
third Thursday, yeah,
It's Thursday.
I do,
between-
yeah, third
Be
Thursday.
here, I'm out of town that week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shall I ask? I did ask for the public's input and, okay, I just want to make sure, because I haven't. No, but. Okay, so we're all set, motion to adjourn. Seconded. Adjourned. No, I didn't, sorry. All in favor? There we go. Now we're done.
Thank you.
Yeah.